Lord, open my lips, and my mouth will proclaim your praise. Regem venturum Domini. And sing joyful songs.
Today is November 30th,
Let us worship the Lord,
2025.
the King who is to come. The Lord is
In
God, the
one of my
mighty God.
previous 4 a.m. reflections, it was Tuesday,
He holds in his hands the depths of
November
the earth
25th,
and the highest mountains as well. He made the sea it belongs
and my mother had
the dry land too, for it was
suffered a
formed by his
downturn
hand. Let us worship the
where her
Lord,
blood sugar dropped when she was in the rehabilitation center.
Come and let us bow down and
And
worship, bending the knee before
last
the
night,
Lord our Maker.
at
For
around
he is our God and we are his people,
7:40
the fellow
p.m.,
shepherd.
November
Come, let us worship
29th,
the Lord, the
she
King
passed
who
away.
is to come. Today listen to the voice of the Lord.
In,
Do not grow stubborn as your
in
fathers
the
did
Advent
in the
Health
wilderness. When at Meribah and Massah,
Hospital
they
in
challenged me and provoked me,
Winter
although they had seen
Springs,
all of my work.
Florida.
Come, let us worship the Lord, the King who is to come. 40 years
We
and
were fortunate
that
that
generation. I said they are a people whose hearts
most
go
of our family
astray,
in
and
Florida
they do not know my
was able to
way.
be there,
So I swore in my anger,
and
they shall not
even I
enter
had
into my
been able to come by.
Come, let us worship
But
the Lord,
today's reflection
the King
has a very
who
interesting
is to
title.
come.
I call it
Patria et
I
Filio,
Missed
et Spiritui
My Mother's
Sancto,
Dying Breath.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et
And by that I
semper,
mean that when
et in
she
saecula
breathed her last,
saeculorum. Amen.
sometimes when a person breathes their last, you're not exactly there at looking at them, looking upon them at that time. I'm not sure if even those in the room all were there to see exactly that last breath. But I was not in the room at the time because I had been experiencing level 7 to 8 bone pain associated with my multiple myeloma cancer, and I had taken the opportunity of my presence in the hospital to check myself in the emergency room to see if there is anything critical happening. I had been experiencing chills and bone pain and muscle weakness, and Google is our best friend or our worst enemy. So when I Google those things with multiple myeloma, it all cautions to screen for calcium levels in the blood, make sure that there's no elevated calcium due to myeloma just injuring the bones. Make sure there's no early infection going on. I had been experiencing lower intestinal discomfort for a few days previously, so I wanted to make sure there was nothing critical. And I imagine that, as you sit and be there with a loved one nearing death, there is no prediction of when exactly they will take their last breath. But at the moment that my mother took her last breath, I was lying on the emergency room bed awaiting the doctor's round and such testing. And maybe around 7:45, I received a call from my wife, who was up with my mother, with the rest of the family. And she mentioned that my mother began to breathe suddenly, very slowly. And I couldn't just get out of the emergency room bed and rush upstairs, or whatever the case may be. But at that time, I sensed that perhaps indeed it might be her last breath coming. And I took the opportunity to make a prayer that she transition spiritually, that she transition. It's often said that those who are members of the family, loved ones that previously passed, sometimes come to greet the soul on transition. And so I said a prayer that my grandpa, her father, my grandma, her mother, and my older brother, I pray that their souls come to usher her safely. Because sometimes I think there can be malevolent entities that try to hurt and distract, particularly if a person in life may have had certain limitations and certain spiritual challenges. Malevolent entities can try to distract and hurt the transition process. But I think the Creator, the love of the Creator is always over and above all those powers, and particularly I think when we pray for one another, that really intercepts such things. So I was comforted to know that around the time of her last breath, I had been an active prayer for her safe transition. And fortunately, the myeloma, the testing of the emergency room showed no active infections going on, and likely my bone pain is either residual effects of the earlier chemo drugs, particularly Velcade. There's a drug called Velcade which had a pretty hard effect on my body, even though I hadn't taken Velcade in about 3 weeks. I take it in a stomach injection.
All you hosts of the Lord, bless the Lord. Sun and moon, bless the Lord.
But even this morning, now I awake, and the level 7 to 8 pain, bone pain is back. Very uncomfortable. I took Tylenol, 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol last night, and probably it helped me to sleep some. But I cannot constantly pop Tylenol every 4 hours. The acetaminophen is not good at those levels for the body consistently. And I have not had very positive responses to narcotics. I don't like oxycodone or Dramamine or whatever they call it. That makes me nervous and agitated. They gave me a different pain medication in the emergency room, which worked. It helped. But of course it dissipates by now. And it was very unpleasant to awake with this kind of pain. Today I have to make my way down to the Mayo Clinic. I have to make sure I pack everything right, have everything I need, all my medications and so on for some rounds of testing at the Mayo Clinic. I'm going to see my neurosurgeon, intervention radiologist to examine my collapsed vertebrae. myeloma collapsed the vertebrae in my L2 vertebrae in my back. So I'm trying to. It's possible that my bone pain, my neuropathy, could be associated also with some spinal cord nerve impingement as a result of that collapsed vertebrae. Could be the cancer medication. It's hard to tell. And then I have the myeloma specialist who will begin testing, as I mentioned previously in another reflection, for determine whether my chemo had been successful in reducing the level of the cancer and possible preparation for a stem cell transplant. So this week is a busy week of testing while my family is preparing for my mother's funeral. And by the end of the week, I'm thinking we might do the funeral Saturday or Sunday coming.
For he is coming, the Lord of a kingdom.
But this reflection today, I missed my mother's dying breath.
A great prophet will come to Jerusalem.
Even I don't know exactly why I chose that title.
A creation. Sing a new song to the Lord. His praise in the assembly of the faithful. Let Israel rejoice in its maker. Let Zion.
There's my alarm going off. High blood sugar.
Let them praise his name with dancing.
I took
and make music with timbrel.
My next round of dexamethasone steroids, which always shoots that sugar up, and it's a constant alarm, high sugar, low sugar.
Let the faithful rejoice in their glory. Shout for joy and take their rest. Let the praise of God be on their lips.
I grieve and I cry for my mother privately.
To deal out vengeance to the nations and punishment on all the.
She is my mother, whom I love.
To bind their kings in chains and their nobles in fetters of iron.
I will reunite with her, and so
to carry out the sentence
as we progress beyond this
honor is for all his faithful.
This chapter of life, this physical temporal chapter. I suppose I don't have much sublime spiritual messages to give today, just this account, this human account.
Of that people he will make a new creation. Hallelujah. It is now the hour for you to wake from sleep.
I wish you a peaceful, grace-filled week, day, as I'm reflecting almost daily now. If you have the patience to join me with my reflections. Happy Sunday.
Have mercy on us.
God be with you.
Christ, Son of the living God, have mercy on us.